All right, welcome back to Synthetic Oil Protection, Thursday with Eben and Jeff. Sometimes we have guests. This is number 47, and Jeff is like a bandit today, and he's a little bit different. He's changed, and we're not going to expose the truth yet. We got to keep it under wraps, if you will, and that's the way we keep Jeff. He's such a clean guy. He's almost untouchable. We consider him to be a modern marvel, you could say. Now today, we're actually going to be talking about the topic, when did we, that's Eben and Jeff, when did we find out about oil changes? When did we find out you have to change your oil? And also, when we found out about changing your oil in your car, did we even know about changing our transmission fluid? There's a lot of people that are new to vehicles, they don't even know you have to change that stuff. So today we're going to be talking about these elements. It's going to be kind of like a sappy love story, if you will. So we're going to be talking about, when we found out about this, what it means, how old we were. It's kind of this whole timeline of our lives and how we came to love these vehicles and want to passionately make them run better. And we're going to share our stories, and we're not going to leave anything untold. So get ready, put your seatbelts on, and get ready to race. Let's do it. So Jeff, you got the motor oil.
I got motor oil.
Start with the motor oil.
All right.
Tell us, I want you to go ahead and expose yourself. Tell us when you first learned about motor oil.
So let me, we'll start it in the beginning. When I was younger, it was my job to actually help my dad change the oil. So I went under there, we would drain it. Then he would leave me the drain pan, and I'd have to pour that into milk jugs, and we'd take the milk jugs and get them recycled. But yeah, no, we did it in our driveway. I didn't know when. I just know that we did it whenever he said it's time to do it.
How old were you?
Oh geez, started changing oil when I was, I'd say about 12.
Now at the time, were you gun shy, were you flinchy? Was your first experience dangerous? How did you feel when the first time you cracked open an oil pan, whoop, and let her drain all the way out?
You know what? The first time I did it by myself wasn't on my cars at home. The first time I did it by myself was the first car I changed my oil on was my Mustang. Prior to that, the other two cars that I owned, I didn't really ever change the oil. So I had a Ford Escort. I think I had an oil change done when I first bought it, I think. I'm not sure. I drove it across the desert, drove it to California, broke the timing belt on the freeway. They put it back together. I drove it back here, and then driving out of town, I smoked the valves. So I didn't have that car more than about 5-6 months.
Wow, so you actually learned the traditional hard way.
Yeah, I blew up the car.
By actually destroying a vehicle.
Yeah, I feel like every guy needs to blow up their first car.
So this is something so different, because I've never had it, and I was actually one of the people out there that thought all oil's the same. And I actually used to do all my fluids on my cars when I first learned it. And my dad got me into it, and I thought they were all the same. I really did, and I felt so kind of stupid because I really research a lot of stuff with cars. I look up the 0 to 60 times, the gas mileage, and all this stuff. And I just found out about AMSOIL like 4 years ago. So I felt like such a tool because I really thought I knew a lot about oil and how to take care of cars. But I wanted to get back into when I first learned about it. I was probably, I would say 13, 14.
Okay.
And I think I did my first oil change when I was probably 17 or 18.
Okay.
And I did it on, I think I did it on my Chevy Cavalier. I think I had a 1990 Cavalier.
Nice.
And I used to drive the living heck out of that thing. It ran great. Then I had my 92 Jeep Cherokee Limited with the 4.0 high output.
Yeah.
And then I had my little gas saver, which was my 2000 Pontiac Grand Am SE 2-door Sport Edition. Great little Mickey Mouse car. Yep, 2 4-liter.
Nice.
And I got 33 miles a gallon.
Easy in those.
Yeah, and I knew about changing the transmission fluid because I did a lot of research on cars when I was younger. I would go and read all the books at like Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
And I love that stuff. And then I started talking to a lot of old timers, learning about it. And I just was so interested in it for a long time. And then I finally did my first transmission fluid change on I would say, was it a Honda? On one of my own cars, it was probably a Honda.
Does that fit?
A drain and fill.
The Fit?
No, the Accord.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was the first one I ever did, but I had mine serviced somewhere where I took it somewhere.
Okay.
So in the beginning, I felt like I wouldn't know what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the first time you do something else.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know where to stick
You're
the
just-
lube.
That's right. You gotta
Yeah.
find a oil cap.
Exactly, you gotta find the oil cap and then you can just stick it in. But yeah, I was totally, out of it. And it's amazing how we warm up to this stuff. And it's kind of like, it's like polishing our shoes.
Yeah.
It's like getting a haircut. You just take care of your car. And it's just something so beautiful. So Jeff, when was the first time you ever did a transmission fluid change?
So, here's the thing. For me, I didn't own a vehicle that had an automatic transmission until I was 32.
Wow,
All my first vehicles were manual.
that's great.
So I did actually learn about transmissions and transmission fluid a little early on because my Mustang, when I did my first clutch in my Mustang, I wanted to change my trans fluid. I wanted to change my transmission fluid in my Mustang, so I did. And I thought it was supposed to be gear oil because it was a manual. And Mustangs, as we know, take Mercon. And so I filled it back up with Mercon. And then oil change, same thing. I did know that there was better differences in oil. I knew better than to buy the cheap stuff. So like my dad used to buy Valvoline. So I bought Valvoline Max Life for mine. That was the flavor that I enjoyed. And it worked great. I was using, I think, a 1030 viscosity, which is perfectly fine for a 91 Mustang. And I took really, really good care of that car. My little Nissan pickup truck that I had concurrently, I had at the same time I had my Mustang, had an oil leak. And it went through 1 quart a week. So every time I put gas in, I put a quart in, it always had fresh oil. I never ever did an oil change. I never changed the filter. I never did anything like that until I finally worked at a shop, found the oil leak, fixed it, and then after that it never ran the same. I was so used to getting fresh oil all the time that when it finally started like actually having to deal with oil getting dirty, it never ran as good as it did. It still ran great.
Wow.
But it was fucking hilarious.
Now, Jeff, say there's someone out there watching this, which I'm sure there are. We got awesome subscribers from Texas. We got lots of great people from Florida. Tons of people in California.
Yeah.
And we got people all over the country, US, Canada, even people overseas. I want you to go ahead, Jeff. I want you to expose yourself, not only take the mask off, but I also want you to get what's it like for them to get out there that first time, and what words of wisdom would you give to someone that's getting ready to get out there and expose themselves, get underneath that car,
Well,
maybe do a transmission fluid oil change.
Let's do the first thing. First thing is sit down.
All right.
Prepare yourselves, because this is drastic. My beard is gone.
Is that you, Jeff?
What? Who?
Is that Jeff?
Where's Jeff? Oh yeah, that's me. So for sanitary reasons, I did have to remove my beard. Wearing my good mask that I wear when I'm working on people's cars, the N95, I was feeling air come in and out of the side of my mask. Therefore, it was not doing anything.
That's a must, Jeff.
And so for sanitary reasons, to take care of my family, because I come home every day after being in cars, I don't want to bring anything home. So I make sure, begrudgingly, I took my beard off. It was such a part of my family that my daughter didn't talk to me for 1 hour. Yeah, 11-year-old daughter would not talk. She was upset because I took my beard off. So, I mean, that's, you know. So yeah, my beard, it'll come back. It'll be back, but as of right now, it's going to stay off for a little while.
You know what, Jeff? I think, you know, in life there's checks and balances.
Yeah.
You know, as much as the seductiveness of a mustache ride and the application and everything in between, Jeff, it's beautiful. And the same token, we do need you around.
I know.
And the people that are watching this need you too.
So that's why no beard.
And
I mean, we're talking. I killed a 6-year-old child of mine. We've been together we had been together for 6 solid years. You know, I mean, so it's, again though, it's not permanent. It doesn't matter. I'm safe. I'm healthy. I can grow my beard back in a month. I have this ability to grow a beautiful beard, and it can come back. But for right now, safety is paramount. Beauty is second to that. So anyways.
Yeah. So it's good to see that Jeff, you know, he's always willing to make that difference. And to me, that's the heart that I saw in Jeff. And I had to expose him here on the channel. We had to give back and share. We had to share him with everyone so they can take better care of their car. And we've been having a lot of really good subscribers coming to shop here, Jeff.
We've had a ton, yeah.
Thanks for everyone that's been coming in.
Appreciate
Really
you
appreciate
guys
it.
coming in, and
it's awesome.
You know, everybody's been really cool about making appointments right now.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Let's see here. We just, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It has been awesome. The customers have been really reasonable. You know, they understand that everybody's dealing with this right now, and to be part of the solution, you got to have patience. And if nothing comes out of this, if we just get everybody to have a little bit more patience than we used to, that's a win. Absolutely a win.
Yeah.
So I am, so to do your first oil change on your transmission or engine, which you picking? Transmission?
Let's just start with the oil. Someone out there, they got a Nissan Versa.
Okay, you got
Walk
yourself
them through it. What would it feel like?
a little Nissan Versa. So the first thing you're going to do on any oil change, this is what I do. Remove the oil cap and place the oil cap right where the latch is. What that will do is that will prevent you from closing your hood if your oil cap's not back on. So the whole thing is, you're like, oh, wait a minute, why is the oil cap back on? Not back on. Did I not put oil in it? It gives you an extra step.
I like that.
Pull the dipstick. This sounds crazy. Older Ford vehicles, if you do not pull the dipstick while you're filling it, it'll actually cause oil to backflow into the PCV.
Wow.
Yeah, so on every single car, you pull the dipstick. One exception to that, if you've got the Nissan with the 3.5, the older model, you have the dipstick out and you're filling it, oil comes out of that hole. It makes a fucking huge mess. But aside from that, every other car. So, pull your dipstick, you take off your cap, you set it right there where the latch is, then you go underneath the vehicle and you pull the drain plug, you let it drain. And I would say, you know, you got a couple options. Let it drain fairly thoroughly. Give it a couple minutes, maybe a 5-minute drain or something like that. Running it first, getting it warm. If you're participating and you're an AMSOIL fan, doing your engine flush before is always good. That does a couple of things. First off, as we've talked about it cleans the hell out of everything. Second thing that it does is it actually thins out the oil. So when you do an oil change, you're getting a more complete change. A couple other fine points. Remove the filter before you put the drain plug back in. Some vehicles, that, especially the ones that have the cartridge filter, that you have to take the housing off and put them inside. There's an anti-flow back inside of that. If you don't pop that, some of those will hold up to a quart. I know the Ecotex, the little 4-cylinders that GMs use, that's a half a quart inside that. Mercedes and BMWs, that's an entire quart inside the filter housing. And if you don't do it, first off, you'll get an improper fill level. Second off, if you did a flush, now you've got that oil that has flush in there going back into your stuff. That ain't good. So yeah, change it, swap the filter. Once you get your new filter reinstalled, put the oil plug back in and feel her up.
I like it, Jeff.
That's it.
Thanks for sharing that with everyone, Jeff. That means
Gaskets, don't forget your gaskets. Always change your drain plug gasket if possible.
All right.
Check your mating surface for your filter. Make sure you don't have a gasket sitting up against the mating surface. If you have one of those housings that you have to take apart, make sure you change that O-ring always, 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 because a double gasket or no gasket is a really, really big mess. And if you're using a premium product, it can pump out a quart of this great stuff in about 10 seconds. So there's 1 quart on the ground on a 10-second mistake.
So yeah, so it's one of those things, you want to do your due diligence, be slow, and the best thing is you're not being timed, right, Jeff?
Yeah, you're not under the gun.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, and take your time with it, and as long as you get familiarized, now we have about over 100 oil changes on the channel, which you can check that out up here in the corner, and just go look at some different vehicles I've done. You'll see that they're all very comparable.
Yeah.
It's really nothing to be afraid of. But it's definitely, you want to do your due diligence, take your time, and trust your intuitions. If you feel as though it's something you really feel like you're doing something you shouldn't, or you feel like something just doesn't feel right, just take it to an expert like Jeff, do the oil change with them, get permission, do it with them, and that way you know for the rest of your life how to take care of that vehicle properly. And I'll tell you what, that'll pay you back indefinitely, right, Jeff?
That'll pay you back tenfold. Your car will run forever.
Yeah.
Skid plates. Even what do you know about skid plates?
I know they're easy to forget to put on.
Yes. Some cars, if you do not put the skid plate on, it will cause the car to overheat. The aerodynamics are designed with the vehicle skid plate in mind. Now,
Wow.
physics and math and shit like that, if you do not have a skid plate under the engine compartment and it's not built correctly, you can actually create negative air pressure inside the engine compartment.
Wow.
So negative air pressure also means you're not getting vital cooling over certain components of your engine, like the alternator. Alternator needs cooling. There's a lot of components in there that rely on the aerodynamics. Someone way smarter than me designed that car. And I know I say that all the time, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they designed it, they figured shit out on paper that I don't know. So if you took it off, put it back.
Yeah, and I used to get a lot of people, they would ask, well, I think I did my oil change. Does it matter if I put that plastic back on underneath? Because they go, it's already half ripped. Or should I just rip that stuff off? That's what they always say.
Yeah.
And they say, should I go to Honda and really spend like $87
It's
on
not
a
that
little
price,
cheap
though.
plastic? So the thing is, like Jeff said, you really do need all your belly pans on a Mercedes and all that stuff. Just keep your car protected.
It's important because here's the thing, you're not going to notice the little thing that it does because it's not like breaking off a tire where immediately, see, it's the coins, not me, I swear to God.
You're right, yeah.
It's not detrimental, it's not immediate. Your alternator goes over time because it overheats. There are cars that have known issues for the alternator, and the redesign later on has a scoop. Ford Focuses have a little air scoop underneath. Thank you, sir. And that air scoop is designed to pull air up in and around the alternator. Technicians will not reinstall that air scoop because it's a pain in the ass. It really is, it's a bear. Well, guess what? They put that there for a reason, because those have issues with heat.
Wow. Now, as far as trans fluid, let's give them a list, Jeff, that are really easy.
Okay.
Super easy to do a transmission fluid change where it's just a drain and fill.
Big fan of the Honda.
I love the Hondas.
And here's the thing, if you're gonna do a drain and fill and you look, you know the Honda transmission takes 7.5 quarts, and you know when you do a drain and fill, it only pulls out 3, right? That's basically how it is. So here's what you do. If you wanna do a little bit better, put 3, drive it, put about 5-6 miles on, go back, drain and fill it again. There you go. Now, I understand it has not replaced all of it, okay? Even though we did 6 quarts, it's a muddled set of 3 and then another muddled set of 3, but that's a lot more than you did before.
It is, and it will be a very impactful
You'll feel the
difference.
difference, absolutely. Your shift quality, your everything improves. I mean, you want that better, more friction modified, hasn't lost, it hasn't thickened, that beautiful cherry juice in there.
This is the liquid cherry right
Oh,
here.
baby.
That's it.
That's the stuff.
That's the liquid cherry. And I tell you what, when I start pouring that stuff, it gets me all emotional. I don't do love letters. I don't do any of that sappy stuff. But I tell you what, when I get into the dark cherry here, it's like electric. I feel like I just drank a double shot, triple shot of espresso, and now I'm thinking, you know what? It's time for another one. That's what I end up thinking about.
Well, so that's an easy one. Let me put a couple of caution ones out there. Or just one that I know. So the 96, 95 Toyota Corolla, Nissan Sentra, GM Prism, and Geo Prism, all the same car made by the United Motor Manufacturing Company.
All right.
If you look at them, you'll see that they're all the same. They have two drain plugs on the transmission. One in the front, one in the back.
Wow.
The rear drain plug is ATF that comes out of there, but it's final drive fluid. And it's not a different fluid, it's the same exact fluid, but for the rear, it's almost like the differential of a front wheel drive transmission. They call it a final drive. In most cars, it shares one big bath of fluid.
Yeah.
This car has a separate bath for the final drive, and it's not a detached unit.
Wow.
It's all on the same unit. So I had a guy one time. Guy drained the final drive and filled the transmission.
Oh, so we filled one.
We have a double fill on the trans
and nothing on the other.
Nothing in the final drive. Well, subsequently, it was his own car, not the shop's, not a customer, thank God. 5 miles and his shit smoked. It basically split the final drive because that's where all the pressure, all the heat is, and zero fluid. Done. So, yep, lesson learned the hard way. So make sure YouTube is a resource. If you don't have a Haynes manual, you don't have a Chilton's manual, or you're
double, triple check it.
Yeah.
And that way you know, even if one guy didn't do it right on YouTube, if they're all the same, you're fine.
And take the balance of information. Exactly. I tell people.
Yeah.
Google it, look it up on YouTube, and go on Bing. Who cares? Something.
Yeah.
Make sure to double check.
And if you're really nervous about it, you can double check with me or Jeff. Just
Call
let
me.
Jeff know. Yeah.
Well, let's give it numbers. Even where we at.
702-472-3614. You can call me anytime, text me anytime. I've had people ask, hey, Eben, is this you? And I go, of course. It's not like some special ghost image here. This is Eben right here. And you can text me anytime, and I'm happy to help you. And to me, that's what makes me tick.
Yeah.
Is helping people. If I'm not helping someone or doing something to make a difference, I start to feel empty inside. And the last thing we can have, Jeff, like you explained, is an empty transmission with no fluid.
Yeah,
We gotta get that fluid in there.
Got to. So, let's see, what else? Other easy transmissions.
The CVTs, the Honda CVT is a basic drain and fill.
Yeah. Nissan CVT.
Basic drain and fill.
And again, with the Nissan CVTs, because you have to do them so frequently, they made it such an easy service. It is 5 out, 5 in. You drain 5, you put 5 in, and really another subtlety, and this is something we do at the shop. Let's say you don't exactly know your fill quantity. You can do it the responsible way, where you take 1 quart, you pour it in, you check it. 1 quart, pour it in, check it. And that's anywhere between 2 to 7 or 8 quarts, depending on your transmission. That's a lot of time.
It is.
So you drain the drain plug into a pan that has measurement marks. Most of your open drain plugs will have, or open drain pads have a measurement. I've got one that'll hold up to 6 quarts. Drain it in, look at the line, start with the amount that I took out as my baseline, and then refill as necessary. So 3 quarts out, 3 quarts in. Let's say it was a little low, you top it up with a half, 3.5 quarts, and you're done. Perfect.
And that's usually what most of these trans are. They're only 3.5, 4 quarts.
Yeah.
And you'll find a big difference just changing half. And if you want to get your toes wet, I would recommend change half first. Get your toes wet, feel the difference.
Yeah.
You're gonna get so excited, you're gonna come back, maybe a month later, do it again, and you'll even have more of that fresh fluid in there. Faster shifts, better gas mileage, smoother driving, smoother shifts, and your transmission will just last a whole lot longer. And that is one of the big weak parts on a car, is the transmission, especially if you're putting heat in it, going up, down hills. A lot of cars engine brake, a lot of that heat goes into the transmission. When you're going up hills, you're pulling the family or a trailer uphill, put tons of heat in that transmission. So do that fluid early, do it often, you'll be happy, your car will be happy, and your pocketbook will be full of cash.
You don't want to have to do that $2,500, $3,000, $3,500, $4,000 transmission.
Yep.
That ain't fun. That's not fun for anybody.
And don't let anyone fool you. You'll get a lot of people in the neighborhood. They'll say, hey, what are you doing underneath there? Why are you changing that? You don't have to change that stuff. There's so many people, they don't even know what they're talking about. Don't listen to anyone. Do what your heart tells you. Listen to your heart. You'll always be in good shape. When your car doesn't feel like it's shifting right, what's happening, Jeff? Tell them.
Well, your fluid's thickening. You're not getting the correct pressure. It's actually, in some cases, overpressure because the fluid's so viscous and it's causing you to hit the gear. Or it's lost all its friction modifier and it's causing it to slip in gear.
So what should they do as soon as that starts to shift different?
As soon as it starts. Not 2 months later, not after the freaking check engine light comes on. As soon as it starts, change your fluid. Because you're probably overdue.
And, I mean, like we said, you won't even recognize your car. I'm going to actually put a video right up here in the corner. Why people love AMSOIL.
Yeah.
There was a little Corolla, and a good friend of mine, and we changed only half of her fluid on her little Corolla, Jeff. I think it was an older one.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it took 2.5 quarts, Jeff.
Holy cow.
Jeff, that 2.5 quarts, it blew my mind, Jeff. It shifted 60% quicker.
Well, Toyotas are
It
notorious.
was unbelievable,
I
Jeff.
mean, if you've done several of the videos, you've noticed Toyotas really blacken their fluid.
Oh, yeah.
They run, I don't know why. I really don't have an answer to it, but Toyotas definitely muck their fluid quickly. They will go from a beautiful pink color, then they'll start turning a little like auburn, and then they'll get like really dark reddish brown. And I've even seen the case where I knew the fluid only had 20,000 miles on it, and it's still that color. So on Toyotas, on all transmissions, color is really not an indicator. If you don't know when you last did it, let's just start by doing it.
Yeah.
And if you do know when you last did it, keep it on track every 30K.
And I got a lot of people, they're watching this now, and they just got a new truck, a new vehicle. And I've gotten so many people, they go, you know what, let me just wait. Let me wait.
Oh God, don't wait.
Let me tell you
No.
what, even if you just got a brand new car, and it has literally 16 miles on it, don't do it quite then, don't do it. But at least
a little bit.
put that 500 miles,
Yeah.
and honest to goodness, do that trans fluid, do the motor oil, get it out of there. Your truck, your car will run so much better, and it'll last so much longer. That amount of money will pay you back, I would say about 10 times what the fluid costs.
Yeah,
And
I would say so.
you would have to see it to believe it, and once you see it, like you watch that video up there, that's when it'll blow your mind.
Damn. Well, so do your oil change, do your transmission fluid, and by gummit, if you got a beard, this ain't the time to have it. So,
Well, you know what though, Jeff? There's a lot of rugged warriors out there
There
up there
are.
in Maine.
Yeah.
There's people out there in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. So you gotta realize for them, Jeff, they're excluded. If they haven't seen someone for 16 months,
Oh yeah, you know, shit. If you haven't seen somebody for 16 months, you don't know what coronavirus is.
exactly.
You are a blessed individual.
Exactly. So be yourself.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
But if you are in a mission critical and you are dealing with people and customers, the other day I saw craziest thing in the world is at Walmart, right? Our favorite place. And everybody has makeshift, you know, thing that's not necessarily an N95 mask. No freaking lies. This dude had a hairnet over his face. Now, I've seen them do that when they have beards and food prep. No, he had a hairnet as his face mask. I could throw rocks through the fucking holes in that thing. A hairnet. Like, if you'd had a hairnet and some toilet paper, that would have been the trick. But geez, man, common sense, it's uncommon. But a hairnet is not a filtration device unless you're trying to filter out fucking leaves. Jesus Christ. So anyways, that was my 2 cents. He was putting produce away.
Yeah,
so
I
didn't buy produce there.
I myself, Jeremy.
But if you're dealing with customers, please be cognizant. Everybody's watching each other very closely. Wash your hands, cover your face, cover your mouth, keep your 6 feet distance from everybody. We're there. Be safe, be respectful.
And be happy.
Be happy. And be happy if you're working right now. Be happy that you're working, be blessed, and serve everybody you can, because you have an opportunity that other people do not.
Yep, and if you're fortunate enough to be off work, you have time to change your fluids.
Yeah.
Well, do it now. And if you need help with a credit card or something like that, I have my Chase card. Text me, and I'll be happy to give you my referral link. Save you $200 cash.
There you go. And phone number. I didn't give my phone number. If you call this shop, you have a question, anytime during business hours, 702-433-5823. If you want to text me anytime on the bat line, 702-907-9227, and I will answer all your questions. Big shout out to my friend James. Talk to him all the time, help him out with all sorts of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're there. Even call it.
Cheers to protection, protection, protection.